Sportsmanlike conduct back again. Talking about NASCAR this time.
Without Joe, surprisingly.
I know. We missed Joe for this NASCAR. 3 weeks left in the season. The closest chase that any of us can remember coming down to the last 3 weeks. I think it's a no-brainer.
It's the closest chase, period. Usually by this time, they're just counting the days until Jimmy Johnson clinches it for the past about 4 years now. So
Exactly 4 years.
Yeah.
But
it's been awesome. The season's been good, but the chase has been really good.
Even at Martinsville with Denny and Jimmy being so close together, Denny ended up taking Martinsville, but I think Jimmy still came in top 5 there.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, Talladega didn't change much.
Not at all.
All 3 drivers had strong finishes. Harvick gained the most with his second place finish,
which was really impressive with how banged up his car was. He had a lot of help from his teammates, which went a long way.
One thing, it's surprising. People think that just because a car gets banged up, it's not necessarily a good thing. I'll tell you this: at Martinsville, the race I was at, Mark Martin's car was so banged up early, and he was struggling so bad, and his car looked like a wreck. And he went in the garage, came back out, and he just went crazy and came in second.
Yeah,
I didn't think it. None of us watching that race at the time, man, Mark Martin's having a rough day.
Yeah,
his car's banged up, and then suddenly you come back out there, and you make 1 or 2 adjustments. Those crews are just insane.
Yeah, well, and I think some of it, even your car getting hurt on some tracks, helps your downforce and helps your handling and stuff like that. It hurts you a lot, but it can help you if your crew's good enough to make it a positive. It can help you. It doesn't happen a lot, but even damage at Talladega. I mean, damage at Talladega is amplified, tenfold because it's a drafting track.
Right.
He had the Barabon all over his car. His car looked like it had raced in Bristol, and he came in second at Talladega. That's really impressive, and that says a lot to the help he had. And I think that's going to be real. That's why the race is so close, because I think Denny and Jimmy were kind of starting to run away with it, and then Harvick was like, all right, I'm going to put my foot in the door here, and comes in second. Clint Boyer barely beats him out. I thought Harvick won the race. It took a while for us to figure out who won. It was about 3 or 4 minutes after the race, and NASCAR had to review it. But Boyer won, and if Boyer didn't have that at the beginning of the first race when he won, if he didn't have that penalty, he would be in the chase now. I think he'd be in the running now too. But that happened.
What was the penalty that they gave him?
150 points.
Oh, so he'd be right up there.
Yeah,
he'd absolutely be right up there.
He killed him, and he won the race. 150 points they took away from him. I think that's what it was.
He's still
middle
300 points back.
Right.
He's still 12.
Right.
He's still last.
Yeah, but that's what it just goes to show. I mean, basically, it's like he didn't run that race. Is basically what it amounted to. And if you miss a race in the chase, obviously that's huge.
You're done.
So, but next race is going to be Texas.
Texas,
right? Texas,
Phoenix, Homestead.
Yeah.
Well, final 3 of the season.
Yeah. If we broke it down, this year we take it. Denny won the first race this year. Jimmy was second, and Harvick was 7th. So that's pretty good.
This is Texas that we're talking about,
right? Yeah.
All 3 guys had a good race this year. Historically, I think they've all been pretty strong at this point.
Yeah, a couple of them have wrecked. If you look at it, we've looked at the past couple, this year and last year. Jimmy had 38th in the second last year, and Harvick had a 5th and a 27th, and Denny had a 2nd and a 12th. So obviously, Jimmy and Harvick had one bad race out of those 2, but the average brings that back up. They can run well.
I think generally the only thing you can say about the last 3 racetracks is all 3 drivers are strong, aside from Harvick at Phoenix.
He's shown signs that he can, but over the course,
consistently he hasn't been strong consistently at Phoenix.
Right.
But Denny and Jimmy are top 10 almost every time at all 3 tracks.
Right.
Harvick at 2 of the 3 is a threat to win.
Yeah, and last year I will say this about Harvick: RCR was down last year. They just were not on the right page last year, so that does contribute to the fact that, as hard as Phoenix of a track is to get a grip on, because it's not an easy track to drive, 24 and 30th, that goes to show that. I mean, and look at the good teams. Jimmy was 1st and 4th last year, and Denny was 3rd and 6th. So you have Joe Gibbs and Hendrick, 2 good teams, all on the right page last year. And obviously, these drivers are, evenly matched when it comes to skill. All these guys can drive the wheels off the race car, but when RCR being so bad last year, I think that hurt. If you looked at 08, he finished he had a couple top 10 finishes in 08.
Yeah.
Still not as strong as Denny and Denny and Jimmy. But he's capable of doing
Texas still,
and
even though with his recent struggles.
Yeah, and that's where he's got to be consistent at. He doesn't have to win, but he can't be 30th like he was.
Lose.
Yeah,
he can't lose points there.
No,
especially trailing in third place as it is right now.
Right.
He's got to come up to pass two guys.
Yeah,
he's got to come up with something big.
Right, and
because you know that at least maybe one of them might not be in the
Yeah.
You're not going to catch both of them on down week.
Right.
Like they're just not both of them going to have.
Right.
You might be able to gain a lot of points on one of them one week, but are you going to gain it on the other?
Right.
If you're Harvick, that's just a tough.
He's got to do his thing. He's got to drive his race and make his moves when he's got to. He can't be too eager.
38 down to one guy, that's something.
Yeah.
But to the fact that you got to pass two guys to get the championship, that's a total task, a totally different task. And I think you're going to see Harvick be aggressive.
Yeah, he'll be aggressive. Yeah. And it's good. And he's the type of driver who's going to move people out of the way, and he's going to try to get to. But he's got to be careful when he does that because
he can't afford to
go out. He can't do it. So he's got to pick and choose his opportunities to be aggressive. At Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead, the last race.
He can't drop any points. Period.
No, he has one bad race these last 3 races, and I think Phoenix would be the race that's going to get him. If anything does, if we're looking at history at least. That's going to be the race where he's going to lose some ground. But
so he's got to be looking to make up some ground this week in Texas. He absolutely has to be.
Yeah.
And
past 2 races, 7th, and then the second race last year he was 5th. So
one of his a good track for him then.
Right. Yeah. Good track.
It's also a good track for Denny and Jimmy. So it's very hard to say.
Yeah.
That's what makes it exciting in NASCAR. This is right what they imagined when they created this chase.
So I think it's going to stay pretty close. I think the only factor would be Harvick not being in the chase last. I think it's going to be close going into Phoenix, out of Texas coming into Phoenix. I think it's going to be close.
You think it's going to come down to Homestead, Jimmy, and Denny?
I think so. That's just what my gut feeling is on this. I don't see Denny. He's been so good all year. And so is obviously Jimmy Johnson. We all know how good he is. He's just a machine when it comes to the chase. That crew knows what they're doing. He just knows what they're doing. It's unreal. Homestead last year, Denny first, Harvick third, Jimmy 5th. Denny won last year at Homestead. They only race it one time a year. And obviously that's pretty good for all those guys.
If Harvick can somehow find a way to tighten, to get this thing to be tight going into Homestead, then
it's going to be insane.
Serious.
Homestead can be a cool track when there's stuff to be. I mean, the past couple years, Jimmy runs like 3 laps, and then it's like, all right, Jimmy, he won. But if there's something on the line, that's going to be awesome. The last race of the season, and that's what NASCAR, I think, has been wanting with this whole chase deal, is the last race of the season, it coming down to it, and 3 guys duking out would be awesome. Who's
going to do it?
I don't know. Obviously, you
got to pick someone.
I'm going to explain a little bit though. Jimmy would be the easy pick.
Yeah.
I'm going with Denny. I'm going with Denny Hamlin. I gotta go with Denny.
I'm going with Denny also. I just feel like
something's gotta give.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm stupid.
It's his year though.
Yeah.
And that's the way Jimmy does it. Is he just quietly goes about his business and you don't hear about him, and he's not the guy that wins 27 races a year, but at the end of the year, who's at the top is Jimmy. But I'm with you. I feel like it's just been Denny's year, and I feel like he's closing it strong, like he needs to be, and he's at the top of his game right now. And I'd be a little nervous for Jimmy going.
Him being 14 points behind Jimmy going the last 2 races, the only thing he needs to worry about is finishing ahead of Jimmy. He doesn't have to worry about winning.
He's got one spot ahead of Jimmy each of the last 3. He's got it.
Exactly. That's all. He's just got to manage. He's got to manage and race smart. And Danny, as young as he is, he can do it. He's shown it that he can do it. He's matured a lot the past couple of years. I think it's his year. And it's going to be interesting to see. I want my boy Harvick to win because that's my boy. I do want him to win, but I don't think he's going to.
One heck of a year to follow NASCAR. If you've not been historically a NASCAR fan over the last few years, these last 3 races are going to be 3 to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And hopefully that'll get you into it.
Yeah.
I'm in now after the Martinsville.
Yeah,
so I'm obviously in now. I'm a huge fan of that. It was just ridiculously fun. But I'm looking forward to the last 3, to tell you the truth. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So we both say Denny, see what happens. Could end up looking like fools.